You think you're winning this game by keeping your distance, but every time you pull away, a piece of me goes with it. Soon, there will be nothing left of what we once had. I've tried to tell you in 1,000 different ways, but you refuse to listen. The more you act like you're winning, the further you push me into the arms of silence. You measure your success by how well you can avoid the truth. But what you don't see is that your avoidance is the very thing making you lose me. You think you're gaining control, but you're losing my heart in the process. One day, you'll wake up and realize there's nothing left for you to hold on to. You don't see it yet, but this victory you think you've achieved is only temporary, because in the long run, all you're doing is losing me piece by piece. Every move you make feels like a win to you, but to me, it's just another step away from what we could have been. And soon, I'll be too far gone to turn back. You think you're gaining power by shutting me out, but in reality, you're losing everything that mattered between us. It feels like you're always one step ahead, but what you don't realize is that while you're winning battles, you're losing the war for my heart. You think you've got it all figured out, but your strategy is flawed. You're slowly losing the one person who saw you for who you really are. In your mind, you've won. You've distanced yourself, kept your pride intact. But every moment you do, you're losing the very essence of what made us real. You think you're ahead, but every time you choose your pride over vulnerability, you're losing the connection that once made us strong. You've become so focused on proving you're right that you've forgotten what it feels like to have me by your side. In the end, the only thing you'll have left is an empty victory. You think you're protecting yourself, building walls that no one can break through. But those walls are the very reason you're losing me. You think you're outsmarting me, playing games that I can't win. But the real loss is yours, because you're pushing away someone who truly cared. You may not realize it now, but you're winning at all the wrong things. While you're playing to win, I'm playing to survive the loss of us. You believe you're in control, but control comes with a price, and that price is me. One day you'll look around, and I won't be there anymore. You think you're winning by keeping your guard up, but in reality, you're losing me in the cracks of your coldness. You think you're protecting yourself by staying distant, but you're only building a wall between us. And the higher that wall gets, the harder it will be for me to stay. You think you've won because I haven't walked away yet, but my heart is already miles ahead, preparing for a future without you. You think you're gaining freedom, but the price of that freedom is my love. Soon you'll realize that what you've won isn't worth what you've lost. You think you're proving your strength by standing alone, but what you're really proving is that you're willing to lose the one person who would have stood by your side. You think you're winning by avoiding the difficult conversations, but each unspoken word is a piece of my heart slipping away. You think you're playing it smart, keeping your emotions in check. But what you don't realize is that by doing so, you're losing me bit by bit. You think you've won by staying distant and guarded, but what you've really done is create a distance that even love can't bridge. You think you're winning by walking away from confrontation, but all you're doing is walking away from the chance to save us. You think you're winning by holding onto your pride, but the real victory would have been holding onto us. You think you've won because you've managed to push me away without a fight, but what you don't see is the emptiness you'll be left with. You think you're winning by keeping your emotions at bay, but every time you do, you're losing a part of me that once belonged to you. You think you've won because I haven't left yet, but my heart is already halfway out the door. And when it's gone, no victory will bring it back. You think you're gaining distance, but what you're really gaining is regret. Regret that will haunt you long after I'm gone. You think you're in control, but the truth is, you're losing the one person who would have stayed through it all. And once I'm gone, no amount of control will bring me back. You think you've won because I've stopped fighting, but the truth is, I've stopped caring, and when I stop caring, you've already lost. You think you're winning by keeping your feelings hidden, but those hidden feelings are the reason you're losing me. You think you're winning because you've managed to keep your guard up, but that guard is the very thing pushing me away. You think you're gaining the upper hand by staying cold and distant, but every cold word you speak is another reason for me to leave. You think you're protecting yourself, but what you're really doing is building a prison around your heart. And soon, I'll be gone, leaving you to live in it alone. You think you're winning by staying quiet, by not showing your vulnerability. But what you don't realize is that silence is making me walk away. You think you're winning because you've managed to keep me waiting, but waiting only lasts so long. And when I'm gone, you'll realize what you've lost. You think you're winning by pushing me away, but each step you take back is one less step I'll take toward you. You think you're winning by withholding love, but every time you do, you lose a little bit of the love I have left to give. You think you're winning by proving you're right, but the real battle isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about who's left when the dust settles. And soon, I won't be. You think you're winning by keeping me at arm's length, but the distance you're creating is the reason I'm slipping away. You think you've won by staying distant, But what you don't realize is that distance is making me lose hope. You think you're winning by avoiding commitment, but your fear of commitment is the very thing making me reconsider everything. You think you're winning by being stubborn, but in reality, you're pushing me to the point of no return. You think you're protecting yourself by not opening up, but in doing so, you're closing off the one person who truly cared. You think you've won because I've stopped trying, but the real loss is that I've stopped caring. You think you're winning by holding on to your pride, but all you're holding on to is an empty victory, while my heart slips away. You think you're winning by keeping your walls up, but those walls are the reason you're losing the one person who would have loved you unconditionally. You think you've won because I haven't left yet, but what you don't realize is that I'm already halfway out the door. You think you're winning by avoiding the truth, but that truth is the key to keeping us together, and without it, you're losing me. You think you're winning by staying silent, but every word left unsaid is another reason for me to leave. You think you've won because you've pushed me away without a fight, but what you don't see is the loneliness you'll be left with. You think you're winning by keeping your feelings hidden, but every time you do, you're losing a part of me that once belonged to you. You think you've won by keeping your distance, but that distance is the very thing making me question everything we've built. You think you're winning by holding onto your pride, but what you're really holding onto is an empty victory that will leave you alone. You think you're winning because I've stopped arguing, but the truth is, I've stopped caring, and that's a loss no victory can overcome. You think you've won by staying silent, but your silence is deafening, and it's the reason you're losing me. You think you're winning by staying cold and distant, but that coldness is the reason I'm slowly drifting away. You think you're winning by keeping your guard up, but what you're really doing is pushing me further away until there's nothing left between us.